Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Anna Von Straussenburg, and she's the owner of Anna Von Straussenburg CPA. We've been talking at the break, we do that a lot here, and we were talking about the fires in California, and you wanted to mention about that for a good reason.
Well, yeah, there is what they call casualty losses, and back in 2018, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, they changed some of the rules for Schedule A deductions, including miscellaneous deductions, and there used to be a casualty and theft loss. Well, now it's just casualty losses, and you can only take it in a federally declared disaster area. So likely, if it hasn't already been done, the fires in California are gonna qualify for that. But it's a little bit tricky because there's kind of a lower of whether the loss of your fair market value or the adjusted basis. And the basis is generally what you paid for your house plus any improvements you've done. And so there's that little tricky thing, and then there's a little bit of I think you have to deduct, a certain amount, like $100 or $500. And they used to make you go over a 10% threshold. That's gone away. So all these little changes, and by the way, these changes are due to expire at the end of this year. So next year it might be different. So it's really good to get a CPA when you have these situations because the laws change all the time.
Yes, not only do the laws change, but you also keep up on everything because there's not everybody does things differently, but I would say because you're all about excellence and integrity in accounting, you're very meticulous. You don't miss anything. You got a real sharp pencil, and you know what they need to do.
Oh yeah. And if I'm not sure, I always research it. I'll have a general idea because I get several newsletters from the IRS every week. I get them from different services that provide me some information, and plus I take a lot of courses every year, and mostly on tax, so I'm really well educated in that department.
The other thing that I had mentioned, that because we are so close to California, a lot of people do have a business there, and I don't know, and God forbid, I sure hope this didn't happen to you, but maybe you do own a business or some sort of a business in California, dual state. We talked about how you're proficient in that and love that, but there might be some people out there that needs this year of all the years or next year to have somebody be able to do it correctly.
Yeah, and there's an interesting tax treaty between California and Arizona, because typically you will get a tax credit for taxes paid to another state in your home state. Well, with Arizona and California, it's just the opposite. If you're an Arizona resident and you work or have income in California, you would get the tax credit on the California side, which is a little bit different. Yes, it's there are some exceptions to those rules between states because every state can negotiate with other states on how they're going to handle the tax situation, but usually there's something that will eliminate either all or part of the taxes charged in a different state.
Wow, so. It's interesting. Now, the best thing to do is to have a consultation with Anna. Her phone number is 480-964-4030. That's 480-964-4030. She does free consultations. You do second opinions, and I'm just going to throw this in really quickly before we go to the other, is that how many times do you find a lot of people try and do their taxes on their own, right? And how many times do you find that people made mistakes?
I would say it's not quite 100% because I did find mistakes. Most of the time I find people money, but 100% of the time I find mistakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is why you want to make sure that you are have an accountant, have a CPA. There's nothing like it. I mean, and the way that you are with the way that you look for things and how meticulous that you are, you do find, and don't try and do it on your own.
Yeah.
Please, don't try and do it.
And plus, my former boss, before I bought the business, used to tease me. He goes, "You don't just have clients, you adopt people."
You absolutely do.
And so my clients have been with me, you know, for, some of them have been around for over 20 years, and I watched their kids grow up, and when they say the little Kevin's ready to go to college, like, how can that be? He's just a little kid. Like, oh yeah, he was just a little kid 20 years ago.
That's funny. Now, let's talk a little bit about tax planning, because that, obviously, this is the time of year where people gotta get ready.
Yeah, and there's still things you can do. If you wanna make a contribution to a deductible IRA, you can do that, as long as you do it before the tax deadline, and that would be April 15th. You can also contribute to a Roth IRA, and some 401ks may allow that. Oh, if you have a, health savings plan, you can contribute to that. So, all those are important now, and also Arizona tax credits, you can still contribute to the, school tuition credit and the public school tax credit and the charitable organization credit, like to places like the food bank and things like that, people, places that help people, you know, who are kind of considered the working poor.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of things you can do, even though we've passed the end of the year, you can still make some plans. And also, this is a good time to start gathering your tax documents.
I was gonna say.
Make a file folder, write 2024 tax on it, and as you get your W-2s and your 1099s and all your stuff in, put it in that folder, and then go through your credit card or checking account and pull out all your charitable contributions if you think you're gonna be able to itemize. Generally, people who have mortgages, can itemize, but, you know, the standard deduction for a married couple, I think, is around $26,000 now, so you've gotta get over that before you can get a deduction. And I think for individuals, like 13,000, so, not exact numbers from my head, sorry.
So, but I do wanna say something
Yeah.
here, for people who are tax planning, and, you know, you don't have to be a large business to work with a CPA, you don't have, it can be, my daughter, I mean, she has a business, her business is
Mhm.
her, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, you do both, I wanted to also say again that you do both business and personal taxes
Yeah.
too. But you don't need, you could be a small, you know, business that works just right out of your home.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, I have many clients that do that. They, you know, file a Schedule C or a Schedule E, like rental properties, and that's something I'm really good at. My dad owned rental properties, so I grew up learning about that and how to fill out the taxes, because my dad was that kind of guy that taught me how to do income
think that's neat.
taxes.
And
So when I got into the business, I already had a leg up.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the BOI real quickly before we have to go.
Yeah, well, the BOI seems to be an on-again, off-again thing. They filed an injunction, I believe it was December 3rd, and they said, well, while the injunction is, you do not have to file it. And then December 23rd, the court released that injunction, but then 5 days later, on the 28th, they put in another injunction. So it went from, you know, the 31st was the filing deadline, and then the next deadline they made was January 13th, and now it's unknown.
Wow.
So it's, you know, I'm sure if they do reinstate it, they'll push it out
Let me ask you
however
a
many
question
days,
about
more.
this. What is do you suggest that everybody just do it? What is your thoughts on it?
Well, I think it depends on the person. I was asked to do it for a couple of clients. I wasn't offering that as a service, but a couple of people, one person has a situation with his spouse is ill, and I said, okay, I'll do it for you, and then somebody else is kind of a good friend, so, so the few, you know, the 2 or 3 clients I'm gonna do, I've held off.
No, I don't mean that you do
But-
it, but I'm just saying, do you think that people,
But
everybody?
I, you know, I think it's up to them. For some people, it might be just as easy just to do it because it's not the end of the world, but I know a client, her CPA advised her to not do it. and
Really?
wait.
Okay.
So you can just wait, and, you know, it only takes about 15 minutes to a half hour to complete it. It's very easy. The hardest part is you have to make sure you scan your ID and put it in a document where you can upload it to the website, but
Right.
I did my own, and it only took me 15 minutes, so.
Yeah, you know, but it's something that is there, please be aware of it, that's the main thing. And, you know, what would be your final words then for today?
Well, my final words is you know, don't procrastinate, get it done, and get your taxes ready and call a CPA.
And if you are anybody, I hope you're not, but if God forbid you are involved with anything with that fire in California, and you need to have help with somebody who can help you with all of this, you have a business over there, Anna is the person to call. Also, anybody who has complicated real estate, she's a great lady, you're gonna love her. Her phone number is area code 480-964-4030. It's 480-964-4030. It's Arizona CPAs with an S.com.